Hey, what's up? Another video on some Airfix 1/32 scale toy soldiers. This time I figured I'd have a look at the SAS Special Air Service, a box from 1983. I did videos previously on the other 1983 sets, the NATO infantry and the modern Russians. I'll put a link in the description for those. And as in those videos I was talking a bit about the little bit of some strange decisions made by Airfix under the CPG and Palitoy supervision, if you want. This is not that strange, and maybe it is, I'm not sure, but up to this point, Airfix had never done a unit in a urban setting like this. But of course, you can figure that because in 1980, you of course had the Operation Nimrod at the Iranian embassy siege that made this gear kind of famous all over the world because it was highly publicized. Another route that could have went, in 1982 was the Falklands War, and the SAS was, of course, engaged there as well. So they could have done a cool, more of a camouflage setup, and they can also have some cool weapons like they were using the M16A1. They could have used the Starling submachine gun and maybe the GMPG. That could have been fun, but they went this route, and I think it's really cool. Too bad that there's no real adversary to this set, because the only ones we had for the modern sets are the Russians, of course. And you also have the modern British infantry, which would still, I figure, work pretty well for a Falkland scenario. And maybe you can even customize those a bit. So anyways, they decided to go this route, and I think it's cool. I like these boxes, the 83 ones. I like the clear, concise boxes that really stands out on the shelf. For the other two boxes, the figures look kind of stupid on the cover, but these looks really cool, and I guess that's because they're actually really cool figures in the set. The back also have 3 more figures from the set, really cool looking. General instructions, how to paint and all that stuff. So all in all, these 3 boxes, see if I can get them. Nice splash of color, I really like them, and they stand out because there's only 5 of them made in 83. They also, of course, made US paratroopers and German Africa Corps. But let's have a look at the figures. In the set you get 7 poses. You get 3 firing poses and 1 soldier throwing a grenade. Like I said in the previous videos, I'll link those also down in the description. On the NATO and the Russian infantry, they were quite small compared to earlier sets. And then again, now the SAS set is back to the normal size. And from the looks of the poses and the size and a little bit more better details, I would say, I don't think it's the same person that sculpted these that sculpted the Russians and the NATO units. Also, then you can see how much taller and just in features bigger this SAS figure is. A couple of things to mention here. I'll just do it right away. I think they got most of this stuff right, with the special made vest they had at the time. But I see the MP5 mag pouches on the leg instead. And also, on this side, there's not supposed to be a grenade. They had a small knife sheet with a knife in it. And I don't think it's that good to put a big bulky item like a grenade up there if that's your firing shoulder. Another cool thing in this set I really like, I usually have a hard time with soldiers running in this fashion, but it's kind of cool because this is almost like a 3-part story here. The soldier, he's first running, let's say down a corridor or something. Someone opens a door, he stops a little bit in his stride and just fires from the hip, and then has the time to engage the target firing from the shoulder. So it's almost like a little mini series here. And I think it's a really cool thing. And all the 3 figures here are really good, looks really natural, and of course really dynamic. I think the details are, they're pretty darn good. Gas masks, I think, is also very good on this set. I'm not sure if they're exactly like the ones that were at the Nimrod operation. Sometimes I talk about sets having an officer or no officer. Usually in a set, if someone has a pistol or binoculars, they're an officer. But I wouldn't say this is an officer, because usually in a SAS unit, you don't really have an officer. And also, this is one of those broken stories to me. Why would you be with binoculars lying on the ground if you're in an urban CQB setting. I would get it if you had a rifleman, sniper, and this would be the spotter overlooking the operation from maybe the other side of the street from a roof or something. But to me, this figure really makes no sense in this theme. Soldier throwing the grenade, super cool pose. I'm not sure you would throw it like this though if you're in an urban setting. Looks like he's going to throw it up on like a second floor window, and that's going to be hard to hit. Again, you can see the grenade here being kind of in the way, but still, it's a very cool figure. I like the way he's holding the MP5 when he's throwing the grenade. Looks very realistic. Yeah, I showed the soldiers standing before. We can't call them standing or kneeling riflemen now because they're using submachine guns, but both of them are really good poses that look really natural. Kneeling soldier, I like the elbow on the knee. It's very good. Of course, you don't have time to get your ass down on the heel of the other foot if you're in a hurry to fire in a close environment. But this is really good. I like these. Never seen this before in an Airfix set. A poorly casted figure, but got to be the first for everything sometime, right? One thing that's a bit, a bit of a bummer or whatnot, but all the soldiers have the Browning high power, or I assume it is, in the pistol holster on the back. It's so hard to see on the black color here. But it would have been cool to have at least one figure with another weapon than just the MP5. They did the same thing with the Russians and the NATO. They were all AKMs, AK-47, and the US used the M16A1 for all the figures. But imagine having one soldier with a pistol and then one soldier with a shotgun, using it like in a master key kind of a thing. That could have been cool, but still, you get some pretty awesome figures. Yeah, so that's kind of it for the 1983 boxes. I'm not going to get the two other ones they released at the time, which were the US Paratroopers and the Deutsche Afrika Corps. They're pretty expensive, and to me, they're not worth the money to just get the boxes. There's a one funny thing with the boxes with the Germans, that they're actually using a figure on the box that's from the 1/72nd scale set and was never in the 1/32nd scale set. Other than that, they're pretty boxes just like these, but I think these are more fun because they're kind of weird, a bit quirky, and the boxes are really pretty. That's it for this one. If you want to stick around and watch the close-ups, do that, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.